Motivate.Trust, they're just focusing on Savage Heroes right now. Lifesteal and Morphling, and probably another POS 1 to be banned. Maybe the Terrorblade here could be quite detrimental with the Chen, but no, they'll get rid of the AM, and they go for an Elder Titan pickup.
It's one we've seen in and out in the support role. I think in this case for MG.Trust, gives him a way of, say, stopping the Snapfire Kisses from coming in from a very long range. So you get the Spirit out in the right spot, get the Stomp off, you can break the Kisses up. It also makes them a lot squishier, so you can leverage the damage you get from your Kunkka really nicely here. Your team fight with the Kunkka Elder Titan is looking pretty good, although your hold isn't the most amazing. I think that's where MG.Trust needs to maybe get something in that ties it from the offlane, so the Masters hero will have to pile on to this team fight for them. But it's looking good. You talked about a way to stop this push. ET Kunkka Oracle, well, ET Kunkka at the very least, do have ways of clearing out those early waves. But Among Us, I love this. They saw the two supports. They don't lock the storm down too well. They get to pick up that storm, and they throw a bit of spanner here. It's like, how exactly are you going to run the Snapfire Chen? Is that just going to be a White Mon Chen, a jab snap, a White Mon snap, a jabs Chen? It's pretty open with which one takes priority here.
Wow. I was going to say, I thought Among Us might be trying to bait out the Doom pick to try and force them to not have that D push potential. Motivate.Trust, ignore the Doom altogether. They'll go for the Sand King off lane, which we've pointed this out before, but Sand King has not been performing so well as of late. However, with the new changes to Caustic Finale, it does mean it makes it a lot harder to push into him. And obviously with the Sandstorm as well, if you do go for the Veil build, it's even worse to try and go up against the Sand King. But Among Us, straight into the 23 Savage Juggernaut, one we haven't seen very often throughout the BTS Pro Series, but there it is.
It ties into this draft really well. You've got the Chen heals, you've got the Jug healing ward, you've got this inbuilt spell immunity from the Jug, so you don't have any way of actually locking him in here. I think that's fairly potent. You have to worry about the disarms from the Oracle, though, at least if you are just standing there to right-click, but again, once you have your spin up, you should be good. So it's going to be a bit on the edge for Savage as to whether or not he can get the spin before the spells come in, break up the combination, get his own fight out. It still is. It's looking like a back and forth draft. I think MG.Trust in this case have some pressure to play a lot faster. There's a lot more scaling here from Among Us. They've got the snap, they've got the Jug on their pause one, they've got the Storm, the Abed Storm's the big one, and they have to watch the mid lane. If Abed does get a good start here, and against the Kunkka, it's not too bad. It's also not the easiest, but if he gets a good start, then we know how much work Abed does put in to buy some space out for Savage.
Last pickups now. Void Terrorblade being removed here from Among Us. Motivate.Trust getting rid of the Cuckoo heroes. The Mars and Centaur being removed.
10 seconds remain.
And Among Us, do they want another Cuckoo hero? He could still be running the offlane Snapfire potentially. It is a bit more unlikely though that he'll go for the offlane Snap, but you never know. I actually really wouldn't mind seeing like an offlane Rubik here for Cuckoo. The only problem being they wouldn't really have a frontlining hero, and well, now they do. The Underlord comes out. It's a big boy. We'll see what Motivate.Trust can do about this one.
We've seen Among Us do this a couple of times, right? And I believe it was Cuckoo who talked about it in the lobby too after that one game where they did it. He was like, Underlord's the best, especially when you use the creeps in Roshan. So they can go for those sneaky Roshas if you're not careful. They've got a lot of team fight, a hell lot of sustain with Chen, Underlord, and the Jug. They can keep themselves alive for much longer. Some key timings here that Among Us should be able to meet at the regular interval. And MG.Trust, there's a lot of pressure here to play aggressive. Kunkka needs to win his lane, so Fearless has his work cut out for him, trying to pressure the Abed Storm. He is going to have the X combo. So again, your main control for keeping Abed down is going to be the X combination. They do close the draft out with a Drow here, and that's... I don't know how to feel about that one here. It's a Drow into Storm, so it can go both ways. The Storm can close in, but if you play with your Gust, you can stop the Storm in its tracks. It's also a way to keep the creep wave cleared out. As you mentioned, their entire draft is preventing this huge push from MG.Trust, but they also have to kind of get their own push out. You want to melt these towers with your Drow, and with the sustain you've got here, you need to find those early objectives for MG.Trust. I'd say it's more pertinent for them. Among Us, they can take it slow. They've got the Jug, they've got the Storm. As long as they don't lose the early game too hard, they can kind of hold out and keep growing and get their heroes bigger.
I'm going to be frank here, John. I do not like that last pick Drow. I really don't like it. I think it's pretty nice in the safe lane up against the Underlord. But up against the Arbed Storm, I think it is going to be very dangerous to play into that as the Drow. Obviously, yeah, you've got the Gust, but once Arbed has a BKB up, you're just a sitting duck. The Storm can just kill you every single time. Let's see how it pans out. Motivate.Trust. They don't want to lose here. They want to try and force to a game number 3 if they can. And of course, Among Us want another quick victory so they can get straight through to the Grand Finals up against Boom Esports, who are currently waiting, and I'm very sure they're watching as well, to see what's happening here. By the way, John, is that the old Kunka hat that Fearless is wearing right now? The bandana hat?
It's a pretty old one, yeah.
Man, that brings back some memories. That was so long ago that bandana came out.
Yep, it's an ancient one. I like the pipe more. Honestly, that's the only part of the kit I like. But the bandana's pretty okay. It makes him, I don't know, it makes Kunkka look way too laid back. He looks less pirate, more like a layabout. He's carrying a bottle around. It's like he's kind of unemployed. Just chilling out like an unemployed seaman. That's what I see. It doesn't really appeal to me too much.
Unemployed seaman, huh? That's
I know.
I haven't heard that one before, John.
Like in pirate films, like an unemployed dockhand or something. When you watch something, I don't know, maybe I watch too much old pirate films, but it just kind of looks like that,
Thank you for that, John. As usual, you have a way with words, I must say.
Let's see. No words from Whitemon about Ogre King anymore. It looks like it's serious mode. Let's see if he does go for the hit. And this is the Jabs Chen and the Whitemon snap. So we'll see just what timings you can expect Whitemon to hit. We know that he... yeah, there he is. I was looking for it and he did have to yell Ogre King again for whatever reason. Why did they bully Jackie like that?
My junior. 23. Isn't 23 Savage pretty young?
Yeah, he is. He is pretty young. Young. They're lovers. Wasn't his birthday yesterday? Is it still his birthday? How many times do you got to greet my pro Dota birthday? I'm sure he knows. It's okay, boys. It's okay, you've done it.
Where is my pro Dota? He's getting
clue.
this much attention from these boys. I wonder where he is.
I have no clue. They're just polluting the river now. Savage is throwing everything in. This is electric? Okay, there you go. I was like, it's just reflected for me. Still, Masaros?
That's pretty dangerous. Savage does have the spin up and will go for it. Masaros will be forced to go for Burrow Strike, but they do take a lot of harassment out. I'm not sure what the idea from Masaros was there. So, just costs him some regen now.
Yeah, it's not just him, but even his Oracle is going to have to eat through these tangos. They're down to 1 tango on Q, which is not a good spot for the Oracle. And Masaros is in a better spot, though. So he is going to be laning against Savage and Whitemon. We've already seen the damage they can dish out. Savage, I mean, it's a jug. You can play aggressive with a spin when it's up. If Whitemon lands the Scatter Blast with a slow, you're going to have enough time to position yourself in a good spot to get that damage out. Not going to be an easy first few levels here for the dual lane of MG.Trust.
No, it is not. Of course, down in the mid lane, we'll see Fearless up against Arbed. Should be a decent lane for Fearless, but Arbed can get rather aggressive at that level 3 mark. Fearless will see how much he can abuse the Tide Hunter as top lane.
What?
23 Savage gets a spin-off apparently and kills off the Oracle. Q. Caught out of position.
Yeah, that's such a strange kill to find, though. Like, Q has round boots as well. He should not be getting into that kind of aggressive range. He's got at least 35 movement speed more than Savage. A spin on top should not be easy to maintain. You've got to watch your spacing there, Q.
You do. Of course, the Scatter Blast does slow you down for a second, but that is only 1 second. Sometimes that is all it takes, however. Of course, the bot lane, Jabs and Cuckoo, going to be up against Boombill and Jackie. It shouldn't be too hard of a lane for Jackie, and as you can see, they are really making sure that Cuckoo does get zoned out early on. And as the levels do come up here onto the Drow Ranger, she's only going to start hitting harder, and that might make life even harder for Cuckoo on this Underlord. It is not the fun lane that Cuckoo was hoping for.
Yeah, it's much more focused on just getting some farm up for yourself. You have to concede to the fact that you're probably not going to slow Jackie down. This is some beautiful plays from Boombill as well. Just being aggressive. You know, you get the Astral Spirit out, you get plus 40 damage, plus 50 damage. You just right-click them down. There's nothing a level 1 Chen can do to really punish that.
No, there isn't. And the Astral Spirit only gives more damage thanks to those Chen creeps. So it's even better news here for Boombill. Go back in, but there's your Firestorm out from Cuckoo now, and that's something Boombill can't really stand in. It does tend to do a lot of damage over time. Back to that mid lane where Fearless, he's dropped quite low on the Kunkka, but up at top lane, Whitemon was under siege, but now a nice cookie out. Savage has the spin again, may just go for it. Q is going to run away. Savage, who'll hold on to the spin, allowing the salve out to come from Q. Savage now will spin back onto Masaros, but the Edict is going to save his life. That's the one positive thing for the Oracle now, that you do have that Fate's Edict. You can block out a lot of the spin damage.
Yeah, it's going to be important for Q to get that spell usage on point to prevent Savage from spinning. Of course, the Jug is very limited by mana pool. If you waste a couple of those spells, then Masaros should have an easier time, and looks like they are running out of bit of mana there.
Jabs will go down to that bot lane. Boombill able to close the gap and just chase him down. Cuckoo was trying to go after Jackie on the Drow, but really couldn't get that much damage off, and now Cuckoo is back to being zoned down to this top lane, or rather pot lane. All he can do is Firestorm. Top lane, however, Masaros is in trouble again. One more attack will do it. Savage is going to be able to get it off. And it's not what you want as a Sand King, John. You're already quite weak as a hero. And you've died, what is it, twice now? No, once. You still just don't want to die in the Sand King. You can't afford to fall behind.
No, it's not just that, but you're also giving Savage this insanely good start. And it looks like he is going to go for the Battle Fury buildup. So you give these kills away to a Jug, the Battle Fury comes out a lot faster than you'd expect. He starts to farm like crazy in the jungle, although
Spin's going to be there. Q does have Purifying Flames up, but bit unfortunate there for Q, John. He went for the level 1 Purifying Flames because he needed the Fate's Edict. Generally, you'll see the Fate's Edict ignored till level 4, and because of that, he could not secure the kill onto 23 Savage. But I can understand why he's done it, of course. He needs it for the spin.
yeah, it's the trade-offs you make. Savage, he did drop low, but he's got the level to get a healing ward up, so he's going to sustain himself in the lane. Again, still up there in last hits. Not quite as good free fire as it is for Jackie, but your Jug's still off to a good start with 2 kills. You don't see too much happening yet. The supports haven't really made anything happen across the map. Abed did pick up the regen rune though, so he might be able to apply some aggression, but he doesn't have his level 6 up yet. He's going to use this for farming.
Top lane. Going to be a TP out from Whitemon. He'll go back towards his tier 1 tower as he was under siege by the dual lane of Motivate.Trust. Bottom lane, Abed trying to make the rotation down bot with this regen. He's going to help take some stacks away here. This large camp. And might still be able to try to go for a kill onto Jackie, but it is looking a bit more unlikely. Oh, I say that, Boombill going to get caught out now. Abed does get the Vortex off, and Boombill is being blocked off by the Jabs creeps. It's back into the mid lane for our Storm.
It's been
Top lane. 23 Savage finally going down. Masaros able to get the kill.
Yeah, that's a big one, trading out your Jug. That does kind of take the wind out of Savage's sails. You've got to be careful about losing gold like that. You are going for this farm-heavy build. You want the fast timer on that Battle Fury, and just got to play a bit more cautious. Respect the power that the dual lane does have to get the chain stun off.
Jackie going to rotate up top now. Whitemon going to go in for the cookie, and Abed going to rotate around as well with the Storm Spirit now, but the Fate's Edict. He's going to save Jackie. They'll go back onto Whitemon. Abed just going to leave the building. That'll be Whitemon going down to Boombill.
This is a 5-man rotation though, to find that support, they have to commit for Savage if they want to really make this one work, but they do break it off. They've
He's got the
4
spin.
heroes top. Yeah, but they send Fearless away. Maybe they go for the tower. You have the Drow who can melt it at the very least.
You do. So that's exactly what Jackie will do. Just get to work. Very early tier 1 tower to be taken here by MG.Trust. Looks like the side of Among Us are just going to leave it for now. They'll just let it go down. They'll try to pressure the bot lane, but Masros is defending quite nicely on the Sand King. Looks like they aren't going to be able to find any kind of tower trade for now.
Nah, it's not. I mean, they do have potential for push here, but we don't quite see a huge Jab's army. They don't have the levels yet, and they don't just naturally push with just pure right clicks as fast as the Drow does. So, good first objective being taken out by MG.Trust, opening up the map just a little bit more. You can see Among Us, though, they do start to clump up bot. They've got Abed ready to jump in for a pickoff. Masaros is a fairly squishy target to try to go for, and he is playing conservatively under his tower.
Nice scan out, though. They know he's there, and Abed might dive the tier 1 tower for this. He just wants some creeps to be around. There's your Sandstorm. Now they have vision. Abed just going to jump in now with the dust, but a nice Burrow strike out. Pit of Malice also there with the Vortex in from Abed, and Masros is going to die. Hugh unable to help, but here comes Fearless. He's going to try and get a trade. Or maybe not. He probably assumes they've TP'd out, but they might just go back in now into Fearless. He needs more help. He'll go for the boat out. Abed with the Vortex, now the Omni as well coming up from Savage. All onto Fearless, but a great torrent out from our Kunkka. He will be alive for now, but Abed going to keep going in onto Fearless. He is still surviving, just barely, but will finally go down. Abed, somehow still alive, will die to Boombell, but here comes Jabs with his creeps. Boombell will die, so will Q. Masros back in, but he is by himself, and Savage will just keep hitting him. Masros, he just TP'd in, and he's gonna die. The only man to survive on Motivate.Trust was Jackie, and that's because he never TP'd down bot.
Yeah, that's a lot of commitment for this tier 1 bot. I think you should be happy to just trade it away. You already took the top one. There's no point defending this bottom tier 1 too well. I mean, you didn't even have Epicenter on your Sand King, so the team fight would have been pretty bad as well. The tower still stands, but finding those kills for these cores are such a big deal. You at least mitigate the growth on Abed because you did manage to kill him off, but it's still a way too good start for Savage. He's got his spreads up, he's still building into the BF, and they can start setting their eyes around the map. They can keep playing their own push game.
That they can. Top lane, Jackie might get surrounded. Whitemon, not going to spot him out. He'll get the D ward off on the Snapfire. Jackie will see them. He'll just quickly try to push this wave out, but hit a Malice. Gonna hold him in for a bit, but not too long. Meanwhile, bot lane, Abed, very low on mana, may get caught out here as the Burrow Strike does come in with the Veil and Sandstorm. Abed still trying to get away here. He's been healed up by the Purifying Flames, still running, but has no mana, but he'll get Boombell now. What? A double kill out for Abed. He does not have a TP, but he's trying to buy more time. There's your Vortex. Jabs is coming in. The Burrow Strike, but Abed is still alive. Masros will finally get him, but at what cost? It may cost them 3 heroes as Masros will barely get out of there. Jabs wants the kill, but can't finish it. Masros playing with fire, though. That slam almost came in. Not going to be enough, though. He does get the kill, and mid lane now. Boat going to fly out. Fearless trying to kill off Whitemon. Savage is there, but Whitemon going to die. Now Cuckoo there with the Pit of Malice. They have the Omni, but they will not commit. Fearless will be okay to run out of there, and it's going to be a 6-10, less than 1k net worth lead here for Among Us.
Yeah, they're still maintaining a slight lead, but Motivate.Trust aren't out of it, although they jump in.
Abed comes back in onto the Kunkka, but Fearless, he's a very, very tanky Kunkka, or maybe not. The Omni, no, the false promise there from Q. Gonna save his life as Fearless will just TP back out to the fountain. Savage wanting to play around here. Masros will come in for a Burrow Strike now. There is your Mortimer's Kisses to fly in. Abed, he's falling low to the multi-shot. He will die in the storm, but so will Masros and Boombell. It's a 2 for 1, but they do get the storm kill. They're going to try and defend this tier 1 mid tower, but it is basically Jackie on his own. Here comes Fearless with the X and the Torrent out onto Cuckoo, but a nice bit of balance to hold them back. Fortune's End to fly in. But the Unlord is going to be alright. Cuckoo, he'll walk his way out. They'll leave the tier 1 tower for now.
Yeah, you're seeing the effect of that Drow Gust right now. Without any defensive item out on Abed, it is fairly easy to punish that Storm. But it's also fairly easy to keep that aggression up. You've got the Chen to call you in. You can maintain your presence on the map. And now Abed, he is right behind him if he wanted to do something sneaky.
He needs a bit more farm though on this Storm, but he's going to get a nice regen rune for himself once again. He's working towards that Kaya into the Bloodstone. Not trying for anything like an Orchid. But Abed, because he has been so aggressive in this mid lane, has fallen behind in farm. He needs to try and catch up. Otherwise, Motivate.Trust, they might start to take over.
Yeah, and Among Us need to kind of temper out this aggression. I mean, you still haven't gotten this Battle Fury for Savage. If he just stayed farming, I think he'd have it by around right now, if he just had free farm, but they stalled it out because they forced him to fight. This is just giving Jackie a lot of time to just grow in the Drow. He's going to have his Hurricane Pike up fairly soon. Once that's up, of course, the Drow can hit from a safer distance and can reposition herself to be in a better spot. So you got to watch yourself if you're Among Us. You still need a little bit of farm. You have taken some nice objectives, but just keep building up. Your Jug is not quite ready to take over the game just yet.
They are not. Whitemon trying to get some wards out here, using his courier for vision. Masaros is going to hold down that bot lane. He's just working towards that Hood of Defiance now. Probably will build into a pipe later on. No Blink Dagger out from Masaros yet, so not bothering for that itemization. He doesn't even have the Epicenter up anyway. Looks like his job is just going to be to keep these lanes pushed out and make sure Among Us cannot push in these towers early on. Get the Blink later on, I'm sure. Meanwhile, Jackie has almost got the Hurricane Pike up. So good news for the side of Motivate.Trust. Their farm is still going very well.
Oh.
Mid lane, however, Abed going to jump onto Fearless. Fearless has the boat, won't throw it out. Not necessary for him. He'll be just fine. But you do kind of look to a gank attempt from MG.Trust soon, perhaps, because you do have the double damage there on Fearless. He's probably going to want to try and use it to get some team fights off.
Yeah, I think there is some pressure here from MG.Trust to play a bit faster. The issue
Savage. He just spun. Are they going to get the X off in time? No. It's going to be fine.
The issue here for MG.Trust is their initiation. With the blink delayed from your Sand King, it's pretty much down to Fearless to just get the X plays off, and they haven't been really able to fight it, and they find Masaros down
They
bottom.
have. There is dust on Whitemon, but they weren't close enough to really pop it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They are pinging out Boombell now. Boombell going to hang around that tier 2 tower, but they might go for a dive. Abed's thinking about it. We'll know now he's underneath an Observer Ward.
Double damage. Touché.
Looks like both teams happy to just keep the slower pace of this game for now.
Is under attack.
They are still waiting out some core items on their cores to really get started. But you look back at Savage, John, that Battle Fury is about to come up.
Smoke on smoke, though.
Lane, Abed can zip in. He wants Jackie first, but a good burrow strike out from Masaros into the epicenter. Abed is in trouble and will go down. Now Cuckoo trying to help out, but he might also just drop here. It's just too much damage to come out from Masaros. And of course Jackie. And there's more to come. Boombell not able to catch anyone else out. Jab's just going to TP away. But they got the big targets in Abed and Cuckoo. They'll be happy with that.
You have to be really careful with Storm here. It's that back and forth. You just don't have a defensive item. When the Gust is in, you are dead. And that is just it. You have to be really careful about being caught in there, but MG.Trust on top of it with splitting that fight up. Jackie with a Hurricane Pike is just so hard to lock in. The root came out, the kisses could not land because Jackie just gets himself out anyway. And MG.Trust, they are behind in kills, but not so far behind in gold. They can keep fighting like this if they want.
Arbed is it back in, but they're ready for him. Burrow Strike, not going to land. Now the side of Among Us, back in, onto that Sand King. They'll take down Masaros, onto Jackie, who got used up. They have the false promise. They might need to commit it soon, because Jackie's in trouble, but Arbed going to zip back in. The Fate's Edict will be enough to keep this round safe for Boomville. He is falling very, very low. There's your Pit of Malice. They caught all three of them. Fearless is going to throw the boat out and try to go for this team fight back onto Arbed, and Arbed, he is low and does go down again. Q will pick him off with the Purifying Flames. Now back into Savage. Cuckoo, he wants everyone to jump into the Uber, and they will. Jabs, he'll be up, but no, the X back. Oh, Cuckoo, he has Yules up. He does get the Yules off in the fountain. That'll mean they can't X him back. Nice play out from Among Us, but they still lost their Storm.
Yeah, again, this time it was the Orchid from Fearless. You're just being punished for not going for anything defensive first. This Bloodstone Rush might hurt Among Us in the long run if Abed keeps getting caught out. They just need a way to stop the silences coming in, be it a Yules, be it a fast BKB. I think Abed has to diverge. Considering how aggressive he's playing, he cannot keep it up without anything to purge off that silence.
No, he cannot. He was probably waiting, like just hoping that Jabs' heals would be enough to get him through, but it's just not the case right now. Not with the mech or the Hand of God. Looks like we are having some spiking here for the ping of MG.Trust, so they're going to just have a quick reconnect. Still less than 1k net worth lead for Among Us, but it has been an extremely close game. Of course, Savage has overtaken a net worth now with that Battle Fury up, and is working straight into the Manta style. Jackie will work into a Manta of his own. Both sides feeling like they need that up.
I think it's slightly more pertinent for Savage, considering the silence that does come up. He needs to ensure he can kind of spin, or at least use his Omni Slash as well. You're going to need more on top of it. It does feel like there's a bit of a damage issue coming out with all the sustain on MG.Trust side. The boat, once it's in, makes it so much harder to blow people up. And Q has been keeping Jackie alive for a very prolonged time. So you have to either prioritize taking down the Oracle first, or just build up raw damage to go through that. It's going to take a little bit longer for the job. I think, again, both sides are still really close at this game. They just need those core items up still. Just a lot of patience from both sides. They zip in, though.
Gonna zip in onto Boombill. Boombill gonna die. Nice pick up there for the Storm. It's actually a fair bit of gold for Arbed, and that's exactly what he wants right now. Is some catch-up farm. Now gonna have another pause coming out. MG.Trust still struggling with some ping issues, it seems. It is Boombill who's lagging. Try the reconnection again. Of course, I did bring up the loot bet odds, John. Still very even odds, but Among Us are the clear favorites at 1.4 to 2.75 for Motivate.Trust. So, looks like the betting community does seem to believe Among Us are looking to get a 2-0 victory here in this game number 2. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with them either, just considering how far Savage is farming. But they are still going to need a bit more on Arbed to pull off this victory. It can't just be reliant on Savage.
No. You really need to finish up this Bloodstone, and then it has to be a straight BKB, because they don't lack enough offense. They really, really, really lack something to purge off these silences. They just need to keep Abed safe out. Again, it's a bit more time to cuck up. It is on Abed to be the space maker, though. He is buying that space out for Savage, which is a better story. The last time we saw them, again, in that upper bracket match against Boom, Abed was sort of stuck farming with Savage, which was not ideal. So at least in this case, your Storm, even with a lack of itemization, is still getting some map space free. And yeah, it looks like we might be ready to go soon. Except Jabs just, taking care of some business.
You know what's cooking? Boom! You know what's cooking? Boom!
We do have the go-ahead. We'll go back into it. It's that mid lane. Might try to Cuckoo here. Burrow Strike is going to be out. Masaros does get the stun off into the X-Torrent boat, but a nice Yule Scepter out from Cuckoo will save the day. However, Fortune's End kind of screwed him over there, but Mortimer's Kisses are going to fly in. That'll force MG.Trust back, and Cuckoo will survive. But Boombill He's going to TP into that mid lane, and it looks like they want to keep fighting, perhaps. Among Us, not interested in the fight. They do push out that bot tier 2 tower, but the Roshan gets started now for MG.Trust.
This is an awkward position for Among Us. They don't have their full force there. They don't quite have vision over the pit, so they probably aren't too aware. They're going to need to check fast as the Rosh. It does take quite a fair bit of damage from this attack.
Cuckoo will spot it out. Back into that Roshan pit though. There's our Storm. Abed just trying to get that Bloodstone up. He needs 400 gold for it. He doesn't really want to take this fight before it is there, but MG.Trust is still going for that Rosh. They need to make the play soon. They've caught out Cuckoo with that X into the torrent. Cookie not going to help him out either. He'll use up, but the Purge is there, and now Savage. He does at least kill off Boombill. Back into Abed, who goes straight onto Jackie, but he wants the Oracle first, and he might just get him Q, trying to run with the Glimmer Cape. Might actually make it out of there, and it looks like he will. Q will survive. Now back onto Jabs. Jackie gets that kill. Whitemon trying to control up Fearless. Does do so, but they still want that Roshan play. Pit of Malice going to hold them in. Abed looking for the zip in, is going to hold out for now. But they'll start the Roshan themselves now, Among Us. You don't have the Omni to play with, however, but Cuckoo can at least get the Dark Rift off if they are in trouble. Masaros going to get more vision. Among Us, back to the high ground, buying time for Jabs to be back up. He does still have the mech up. Mortimer's Kisses to fly in now with the Pit of Malice. All onto Fearless, but the Fate's Edict is going to save his life. Onto Masaros, they get the dust off. The Sand King, but no, a great stomp out from Boombell into the multi-shot, and now the Earth Spitter coming through is going to connect onto both. They do kill off Savage. The Dark Rift might be enough here. The Yules is going to be there from Cuckoo, and he'll get Abed out. But the Roshan is going to go the way of Motivate.Trust. Great plays out from this Radiant side. They'll take the first Aegis of this game too.
Yeah, that back and forth's really causing lots of issues for Among Us. They just can't leverage their sustain. They still are getting a lot of issues with the silences coming in, with the control MG.Trust has. They need more items. They are forced to fight because you can't give that Rosh for free. They did at least find a couple of trades, but overall, not a win at all for Among Us. Very big win for MG.Trust. They're starting to come online. Jackie is a bit closer towards his Manta compared to Savage. So you do have that as well. Although it's rather even between both past ones. The issue is you really need Abed to be online. Just finish up this Bloodstone, which he has. He needs the BKB. You still have to wait for at least 3,000 more gold to flow into your Storm. That's a lot of time you have to give up here, where MG.Trust is still going to win out most of these engagements.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Gonna go after that tier 2 top tower now, Motivate.Trust. Among Us, probably just gonna try and split push the bot lane. Make them feel a bit uncomfortable here. I don't think Among Us want the fight yet. Just judging from that last fight and the fact that Jackie has the Aegis, it is pretty dangerous to take the fight. Jackie just gonna take the tier 2 tower out of range. Perfect balance. Just look at this. He doesn't even have a Grove Bow. It's just the Dragon Lance into the Hurricane Pipe.
Yeah. Just what it is. I mean, I believe they did have the Grove Bow, but they don't actually pick it up. He was using it a while ago. Just wants the strength stats. They're going to trade, and this is definitely a lot faster for MG.Trust. There's enough time to defend if they wanted to.
Fearless has got a BKB up as well, John. It's great timing out from our Kunkka. Orchid was there on Savage, but the boat not on point. Still Masaros missing the Burrow Strike now. Jabs just going to TP out of there. Whitemon going to try and do the exact same and does get away with it. Savage is the only one left. He's trying to TP. Masaros needs a blind stun, but no, he doesn't get it out. They ping it out in the end, but it's too late. Among Us, they get away scot-free. They don't get that tier 2 tower, however. So it is still a bit of a win here for Motivate.Trust. And they might be able to push down this bot tier 1 tower now that they saw all those TPs happening.
Yeah, it's going to be a free objective to take. Not the most meaningful one, but it will give them a good amount of gold. Jackie, though, finishes up that Manta. So he's got more durability on the Drow now. Among Us still needing to get that farm up for Savage does match it. So you've got the Mantis up in both cores. You still need time here for Abed, but it's way too far out. And
Lane, Fearless, getting used up by Cuckoo. Pit of Malice will hold him in, but Masros is waiting in the tree line with a Blink Epicenter. He will not commit. Meanwhile, down at that bot lane, Jackie, he just keeps going after the tier 2 tower. Tier 1 already gone. He'll take a free tier 2 if that's what it means. Among Us, they do not want to defend. They're trying to just split push again. It is going to be some solid objectives here from MG.Trust now. Looks like they are just waiting out the BKB on their Storm Spirit before they go for another fight, but Boombell still having issues there. It's the third reconnect for him. I hope he can get these issues sorted, John. This is the lower bracket final after all, that you don't really want to lose the games just because you're lagging.
yep, it's not going to be a good feeling, but it is what it is. Still, that BKB for Abed, just about 1,600 gold away. So not as much time left. He needs it up. Once you've got it up, I think MG.Trust have to be cautious. The Storm can tear through the back line, can isolate your Drow. Even with a Mantis style up, without the BKB on the Drow, so it's not going to be enough. So we've got to see if the timings line up. I think MG.Trust are playing it perfectly, though, just taking these objectives for free while they can. If they set their sights out for the mid tier 2, it could be another objective, but they go straight to the high ground.
Oh, Pit of Malice there right in time, so Cuckoo could not get stunned up, and now Masteros just copying a lot of damage from that tier 3 tower. They're really going to go for a push as well. Motivate.Trust. They still have the Aegis. They want to try and get some more damage off of this tower. In fact, the Burrow Strike is going to be there onto Cuckoo now. He does get the Yules up in time, but the Fortune's End going to cancel off the Yules. Now Abed jumping back in, but he's been silenced. That's really bad news for Abed. They're trying to keep him alive, but it's going to be no good. He'll go down onto Jabs now. Motivate.Trust doing some great work. Whitemon, however, going to jump in and take down Masteros. Fearless still trying to go onto Jabs, but here comes Savage. He does have the Omni. Jabs going to go down perhaps, but Jackie now going to turn back around onto Savage. Gets the Gust off with the Manta. Going to purge the silence. Meanwhile, Whitemon being silenced up now by Fearless. He'll be the fourth one to go down here for Among Us. And with that, they might be able to just get the pressure onto this tier 2 mid tower or the tier 3 bottom tower. Whichever one they prefer.
This is not great for Abed. He just bought the Bloodstone, drops down to 11 charges. The zip in, it's just the Orchid. That time it was the Orchid from Fearless landing on first, the follow-up Gust times. It's just too much. They can't fight. You have to play safer, maybe surrender to Rax. But this is just the result of that build-up. You have to accept the result of that. There's no way you fight into this.
Oh, they lose the Aegis though. This could be nice timing for Among Us, as they only have 5 seconds for everyone to be back up. They don't have time for the Rax. And Savage is going to try and get vision as Abed. He might jump in. It's risky. Do they want to punish? Not quite. Fnatic, they're going to hold out. Well, excuse me, not Fnatic, but rather Among Us. Damn these team tags!
I just get a bit of a giggle. Think about that one guy who keeps spamming that copy pasta. Still, you know,
Sorry
that, you've
about
got
that.
a 5k lead now. It's okay. You've got a 5k
I'm
lead
not
now. from
apologizing to you,
MG.Trust.
John. Jeez. Savage. Getting silenced up. Pit of Malice is there. Savage is in trouble and gets blown up. Oh, the Earth Splitter. It was too much damage.
Yeah, you really have to watch your positioning. They're just being punished. You can't dodge all of them with just the Manta, and that's their Rax. So widening that lead now to 7k in the way of MG.Trust. Among Us, they've got to regroup. They've got to think of a new game plan here, because throwing bodies out is not working. They need a steady farm. Abed is getting that space out in his jungle. Just about 800 gold off the BKB. Maybe that'll be enough, but considering how durable the side of MG.Trust is, considering the fact that Jackie does have his own BKB, your Storm might not be able to rip into the back line. So you're going to need even more gold to come out. Just play the slow game, play defensively, stall out the push as best as possible with Cuckoo's wave clear, and keep trying to farm up. That is all Among Us can do here. MG.Trust, though, they're playing it brilliantly. It's just Jackie. He just pushes towers. There's no punishment. He's got the range. Tier 2 gone mid now. They've even got this Aeon Disc on Q, so if you were looking to burst the back line, even that's not going to be very easy. So a lot of good things coming out for MG.Trust. If they keep that pace up, we might see them force a game 3 out here.
They may. It's looking great for them. What's Plus saying? 82% for them on the Radiant side. Good news. They might even get Arbit, but he will just TP away with that zip and does have the BKB up now. He doesn't have buyback, however. So it's a bit of dangerous territory here for Arbit. If they do take another team fight. G.Trust, they've smoked up as well. They want to try and make a play happen. Looks like they might run into 23 Savage. He doesn't have buyback yet. He needs about 200 gold for it. He's also just trying to work towards that Ags, and he buys the point booster out, so now he definitely doesn't have buyback gold. But it looks like the high ground won't be coming anytime soon anyway. They are still just trying to hunt down this Jug. Savage will just spin TP out of there and be just fine. Gets all the neutral items that he did end up picking up from that ancient camp as well.
It's a bit unfortunate for MG.Trust. They would love to transition to, say, a Roche. It's going to be a long timer now. It's about 3 minutes until it respawns, so just a lot of time where it's either the high ground or farm for them. That's going to be a great stall out for Among Us, though. They do need that space. They are smoked up, but it looks like they did just go for D-wards. So just trying to free up some more space in the map where they can go around safely. You can see MG.Trust though setting up for the shove. Jackie's got the top lane shoved in, but do some chip damage to those tier 3s.
Cuckoo gonna get burrow striked up here from Masaros. Fortune's End gonna fly in, but Cuckoo, he's gonna be alright. Trying to find a way up onto this high ground, MG.Trust. Looks like they're gonna decide to try and take down this tier 3 top tower and take the easier tower if they can. TPing back now, Arbet. No buyback gold for him. Does have the 10-second BKB charge though, but that tier 3 tower gonna go down to Jackie. Zip in. Arbet gonna try and go onto the Drow, gets the Vortex off. Just chipping away at her HP pool. But Q is gonna heal him up. He'll be just fine. Back into it for them. They want the racks. They've also got the 10-second charge on Jackie anyway. Peter Malice going to hold him down. Arbet just trying to clear out the creep wave. Cuckoo, he's been X'd up into the torrent. Jackie just focusing on the top racks. Arbet going to zip back in now with the Vortex, but he's been silenced up. Not popping the BKB yet. There's Savage with the Swift Slash. He does have the Ags. Peter Malice once again. Cookie, not going to land. They want to try and punish for this. But they're not going to get away with anything. Top racks, or at least the melee barracks does go down. And now Motivate, do they want to keep going? Burrow Strike is there onto Arbet with the Epicenter, but no. Masaros not actually going for the Epi yet. Onto the Vortex, into the Elder Titan. Boombell dropping low and Fearless, dropping very low to the Omni Slash, but the False Promise going to save his life for now. Boombell does go down. The Kunkka back in the Fountain. Fearless, he will survive through the False Promise. And meanwhile, Masaros going to TP on top of the high ground. Does also get out of there. They only lose the support Elder Titan.
Yeah, it's a defense coming out from Among Us, not the most successful. I think MG.Trust is still happy with taking that melee racks off. That means the top lane's just going to be steadily shoving in. They know the item reveals are there for Among Us. They know the Ags is up on Savage. The BKB also being revealed there from Abed.
Masaros.
Got to be a bit cautious.
They went back in. They got the Storm. He does not have a BKB up. He'll pop the Bloodstone charges, but no, they have too much damage from Fearless. Now Cuckoo trying to Dark Rift out of there, but he's also going to drop. Oh, MG.Trust just so quick with the rotations. And they have a Roshan to play for. So that's exactly where they'll go.
It's going to be a big one here for MG.Trust, having access to the Aegis and Cheese onto the next high ground. Among Us, they're really falling behind now. 9k behind, 20 to 18, not so far in the kills, but it's just not lining up. They do have Whitemon's Ags up. Maybe you can make a play happen with a Gobble Up, but it doesn't look like they'll be able to contest the Roche. So it's a freebie for MG.Trust. You've got to watch the high ground. The defense here has to be near perfect for Among Us to find any way to wedge that lead back their way.
Now they'll have to try and wait out the respawn timer on Arbet first. I'm sure they do not want to commit the buyback yet on this Storm. Gonna hate committing that buyback anyway, because it's about halfway to that Aghanim Scepter on the Storm Spirit. They really want that up for team fight. But look at the side of Among Us. They're hiding in that triangle, just waiting to go in from the behind. Tier 3 tower is going to start dropping Tier 2 the Drow, but we've got the Ags up on Whitemon as well. So Gobble Up is upon us once again. See if this makes any difference in the next team fight.
Yeah, I don't think they've got any natural targets to toss in though. Maybe Cuckoo, but he's a bit too vulnerable. They're just going to use this to keep shoving the waves back, and that is what Among Us has in spades. They've got a lot of wave clear. They can keep the creep wave shoved out for a very long time, or at least constantly taking out the wave. Harder to go through backdoor, and they do
Big
smoke
smoke. Be risky. Can they get done here? Made the jump in yet. Probably want the Gobble Up play, but it's on cooldown. Trust gonna find Arbit, but he's gonna zip to the creep wave and just start split pushing that out. To make it as hard as possible for them to go high ground here, MG.Trust. They're still gonna give it a shot. See Jackie with that Eye of Skadi up now. Gonna be even more painful to deal with this drought. Up to Cuckoo. 4 staffs up to the high ground now with the Burrow Strike. Cuckoo about to drop. They're trying to heal him up. He'll get the Yules off in time, but the boat's flying in. They'll get the Unlord, but he'll buy back. Gobble Up onto Savage, hitting the Oracle, but Q had the Aeon Disc. That's your Swift Slash gone. Arbit can zip back up to the high ground, but the Mortimer's Kiss is doing a lot of damage. Boom Bell is barely going to survive. They still want to fight this one out. They committed the buyback on Cuckoo. Savage still has the Omni. A nice stomp out. Fearless trying to deal with the Juggernaut, but Arbit jumping straight onto Q. Might just get the Oracle, though no. The false promise there in time. Savage still holding onto the Omni Slash. There's Masteros with the Burrow Strike. Back into the 4-staff onto Cuckoo. The Dark Rift going to get him out. Jackie, he's actually going to survive, but Cuckoo, he got X back by himself. Oh, it's a dieback on Cuckoo. And they won't get the Aegis off Jackie. Gobble Up onto Savage, but no, they get the Silencer Burrow Strike off Savage. He's going to go down. He'll buy back. This is getting to be a really hard defense for Among Us. Jackie gets the Tier 3 tower. Savage, he still has the Omni, but another great Burrow Strike out from Masteros into the double silence, and now the boat coming in. Savage, he can't afford to die. He'll mantra it off. Arbit, he's going to jump back in, but back out as well. Jabs just getting demolished here by Jackie. Onto that mid-racks. Jackie makes quick work of it, but they do cliff up. Arbit will zip back in onto the Sand King, but he's going to be careful. Fearless, he'll go for the X-Pack with the silence. He pops the BKB. Now the Omni being committed, but the Link, or rather Lotus Orb. He's still going to get the kill onto Whitemon, but he does not get as much damage as he wanted, and now Savage needs a way out of this. He'll spin TP, but they might have the damage output. No.
Ooh.
No, they do not, but they call the GG. They can't defend any longer. And MG.Trust, they will force to a game number 3.
Oh man, it was really a big issue with the draft. Like you said, you didn't like the draft. Again, it's a weird matchup against Storm where it's 50-50, and Abed, he kept playing too aggressive. He needed a fast BKB if he wanted to be aggressive, and he just kept getting punished. If it wasn't the Gust, it was this Orchid pickup from Fearless, just doing a lot of work. MG.Trust, fantastic time in game number 2. Among Us, a bit overconfident. They made some really deep plays. They were trying to style off with Abed. Didn't really pay off. They need to temper back some of that aggression. They have to remind themselves a Storm is not something that is immediately ready to go. I mean, it can maybe find a couple of kills. It does need more items to come up. Savage did go for another farming build again. So you had 2 cores that were just not ready to face up against that aggression. And MG.Trust, they know those kinds of timings. They know how to punish it.
Oh, I love the fact that we're at least going to a game number 3, John. That gets me very, very excited, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes to see how this game 3 will turn out and who will be facing Boom Esports in the grand finals. We'll see you again very soon.